Bases dropped a little early, I know. And it's about 12 minutes early than we normally are, but it's because of guest number one. And we're going to have to filibuster a little bit because hopefully in a perfect world, we will be able to find out where in the wide world of sports Luca Pelliccioni actually is. Is he back in the office? Is he in San Marino? Where in Europe is Luca? And Luca's our buddy from the San Marino national team. And with their longest winning streak in international competition history, their longest unbeaten streak in international competition history, we figured we'd knock on Luca's door again after the win against Liechtenstein in Nations League to get them out of Group D and get them into Group C. And the funny thing is that now you see folks on social media and they'll sit there and they're like, well, the last 3 matches, San Marino's got a better winning percentage than Manchester City. And that's the fun part about all of this. To see a national program that has struggled for as long as it has, to have the moments that they've had over the last couple of weeks, say. No, it's been fun to continue to follow the story along and get it to where it is right now. And so with the world knocking on San Marino's door, we figured we would knock on it ourselves, catch up with our friend Luca from the press office, and find out what the vibe has been like now that they are out of D and into C. It's been fantastic. It's been fun for us to kind of follow along. Lowest ranked nation at 210. You end up with the absolute just scenes in their promotion to League C and Nations League. So no, it's been fun to continue to see how the story continues to evolve. And wasting no time, the man said he was going to be here at 5 till, and he's here at 5 till. So now we bring Luca in, and we're going to ask Luca, dude, where are you, by the way?
Hello, John. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good. Where are you?
I'm in my rain, if I can say something like that. I'm in the press conference hall at the San Marino Stadium here in Serravalle, San Marino.
What has it been like these last couple of days to see the team do what it has accomplished? What has it been like there?
Yeah, I can repeat what we've been saying a couple of months ago. Mind-blowing, ultimate satisfaction. But actually, I have to edit my previous statements because no one here in San Marino could even imagine something like that. It's been crazy, man. I don't know if you had the chance to see the match. The guys delivered a great game. It seems that our opponents were playing like that. Normally, I think we have led the game. We deserved the victory, and for sure, also the participation of the country has been amazing. When we arrived here in San Marino with our coach and the bus, for sure, a lot of people from the youth teams, citizens were just waiting to welcome us with, pyrotechnics, flag, anything like that.
Fireworks, pyrotechnics, and flags. I love it. I don't think, and have you seen all of the support on social media where folks, I mentioned before you came on, your last 3 matches as a nation, you have performed better than Manchester City has in their last 3 matches. I mean, the stuff is out there, man. It's hilarious and it's awesome at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. I saw some meme for sure on the web, on the social networks displaying, Guardiola, Arteta, because Arsenal as well is struggling in the November fixture to gain some victory. And our coach with the recent trends, and we were leading over this sacred giants of the world soccer, and has been pretty amazing. And like a joke, I would never play against the City or Arsenal to show who's better, but yeah, for sure it's been a great boost, even in terms of jokes.
Hey, but you're not a joke anymore. It has been fantastic to see what you have been able to accomplish as a nation over these last couple of months. Can you even put into words what this promotion means in Nations League to the soccer community there in San Marino?
I mean, it means everything, because such a big result has a lot of ramification. It's not only a table leading, even if until the last August we've never won a competitive match, and in a couple of months we won two, we drew one, and we lost 1-0 at Gibraltar the fourth. So in terms of overall growth of the national team and the soccer environment here in San Marino is an amazing boost. But you can only imagine how important it is for the youngsters here in San Marino. For example, I have a nephew who is 13 years old. He's playing in the under 14 in the youth teams of San Marino Academy as well. And he was a ball boys in the game against Gibraltar and Liechtenstein at home. And since he started to be ball boy, he just never see the national team of San Marino lose a game, because it started last September. And you can imagine for a youngster that can see that team as the ultimate achievements, as the main target for his career, probably because we are poor in terms of professional players. We are living a 61 kilometer squared country with our own limitations and blah blah blah. But you can imagine in a youngster like him how important it is to see the national team not just like a always losing one, but just the one that is promoted to a League C. That next year will be playing the World Cup qualifiers, and with a great boost of luck for sure, we may also play the playoff to qualify to USA, Mexico, and Canada World Cup. You know what does it mean? It means everything. It means not just how to say present the national team as a dream for everybody, but as a dream that can be realized, that may lead you to other big achievements. We have one chance over 1 billion probably, but how can you imagine that San Marino in 2026 summer will be hearing live from Atlanta next to you in the same studio, because we may have our summer camp next there, because we're playing, I don't know, in North America boot camp. That would be crazy, that would be crazy.
Fantastic. We will be ready for you, because we went after the win and we played the end of the match on the morning show. That we played the ending and the celebration from the broadcast, and we went through the idea of, okay, if they end up as one of the four, it's like North Macedonia, you, and two others, and if you were to win, I think Northern Ireland was one of the three.
Mm-hmm.
If you win those two, and it's just one-offs, and the thing is, you don't have to win. I think shootout. I think the penalty kick shootout point, I think, is there as a part of this too. You're a couple of wins away from hanging out with us in 26. We loved that idea, and we couldn't be happier for you as a nation to get to this point.
Yeah, and I think that this is the core of the football system, because if you're just a baby that loves plays football and dream of participating at the World Cup, the system should boost this kind of dream. Nobody should be stopped dreaming only because was born in a small country, or in I don't know, in Oceania, or in South Africa, or even in America, something like that, because only the top level national team should be participating to the ultimate competition at the international stage. I mean, they're for sure the most important teams in the world with the most important players and skilled players in the world, but we have to deserve it. Nobody can argue about England would deserve to go to a World Cup more than San Marino due to their skills, players, etc. But if we're going to face them in a playoff knockout game and everything, I mean everything, should go to San Marino, I don't know why we should give the pass because they made better than us in the last century. You know, football is about promotion, relegation, is about the competition, is about also sometimes overwhelming and unexpected outcomes. And those are the really spicy that people lost because, I mean, I love see great players playing each other, but when the outcome is expected, I think the soccer may be losing that quid, that the things that made it special. Everybody loves Ranieri's Leicester's story because it was unexpected. I don't know, probably citizens, supporters doesn't remember how many games they won in the last 3 years when they always won the Premier or closed runner-up. When you're used to win, and also, I mean, the product may be losing something.
Well, my friend, I know that you have to get back to work. It is a very busy afternoon there in San Marino. We cannot thank you enough. By the way,
great shirt. I saw it.
I broke that out this morning, knowing that you were going to be. So right there.
Nice.
And now I got to work on the team shop because apparently they're having issues shipping to the United States because I was trying to buy some more stuff, but I got to work on this, man.
Before leaving, John, I can tell you that this summer here in San Marino, we worked a lot to establish our very first soccer museum dedicated to San Marino's football. And we had the inauguration the day before San Marino, Gibraltar. So a lot of things, a lot of video contents, memorabilia, soccer booth, front page of magazines, of course, national team jersey, all over the years. We inaugurated it on 14th November. Okay. On 15th November, we draw at the 90+2 seconds by penalty against Gibraltar. We keep alive the opportunity to get promoted in League C. And 3 days after, so I mean 4 days after the inauguration, we won in Liechtenstein. It's open by 4 days. Everything is a old-fashioned museum now, so we have to renovate it after a week from its inauguration.
Got to build an addition to the thing.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Anytime you want to come by. Just knock on our door. You know that you can come by, and we love seeing you. We love seeing the progress, and we want those 2 extra wins so you can be here in 2026, and you know that we will roll out the carpet.
Hopefully. Finger crossed, both hands and feet. And the ultimate dream would be to be sharing your studio with you, John. Thanks for the attention you always pay on our story that is becoming worldwide. Fortunately and unfortunately, due to my work, that is really pretty busy in last days. But yeah, I've just been once in USA on the West Coast, so I'd be happy enough to be on this side.
Beautiful. Well, be safe, my friend. Be well. We'll be keeping an eye on you soon. You know, we'll be knocking on your door so you can come in at any time.
Yeah.
Bring friends. Bring friends, man.
Why not? You know, due to the recent scores, we've been grown also in terms of friends. We never had too much opponents, but a lot of people, they say, San Marino is always losing. Why they're playing football at that level? Now everybody are happy of our national team and proud of our results. So there's space enough for everybody also for that are changing their minds.
Fantastic. Well, be safe, my friend. We will catch up with you soon.
My pleasure. See you, John.
All right.
Next time.
You got it,
Bye.
man. Bye.
Yeah, my pleasure. Bye.
Luca Pelliccioni from the press office for your San Marino national team, people. How many morning shows have San Marino on after a promotion to League C in the UEFA Nations League? Not many. How many of them can sit there and dial up the press office and go, "Hey, Luca, we need you on the show"? And it took a little bit. We talked to him the morning after promotion, and it was like, "Okay, dude, we want you on. You know, what can we do?" And so we got that to where we had to come on a little early this morning, but hey, I mean, he's probably got like press conference here, press conference here, press conference here involving the head coach and the players and all that kind of stuff. But Luca Pelliccioni from the press office for your San Marino national team that has been promoted to League C in UEFA Nations League because they have owned Liechtenstein. Fantastic. This planet's 210th ranked team in UEFA. In the FIFA rankings, they're at 210. They got wins when they needed. They got the points when they needed. And they got promoted. Sound familiar? Wins when you needed. You keep on playing. And now you're in League C if you're San Marino. So from looking at it, you had the press office in the background for your San Marino national team. San Marino's win, by the way, according to our friends at Sweeper, also meant that Euro 16 and 2018 heroes Iceland were the only European nation without a victory in Nations League. 24 hours after the win, Iceland got a win over Montenegro in League B, group number 4. 20 years without a win twice in 2 months, beat Gibraltar and Liechtenstein to win their group. And literally, there are 2 wins. They are 2 wins away. 2. If things line up a certain way, and we discussed it, that if things line up a certain way, they are 2 wins away from being in the tournament in 2026 and being over here on this side of the planet. That would be just absolutely damn fantastic. And we'd love every minute of it. I don't know if that's opening kickoff, but we'll make it opening kickoff. Brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. There's your QR code for those of you who are hanging out with us, however you're hanging out with us this morning. Right there, you use that QR code, you get your day started, you get your day kicked off by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Then, what you do, use the code SoccerDownHere15 when you check out. You get 15% off your purchase. They in turn take 10% reinvested into youth games, youth initiatives. Very, very cool stuff from our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. By the way, also with our friends at Grady Baby Co., you can get this sweatshirt and the matching T-shirt. Soccer's just better in Atlanta, and it's in the Atlanta United red and the Atlanta United black. And what you can do by purchasing this gear from our friends at Grady Baby is help out middle school soccer projects that are attached to the Atlanta public school system and build the game from the middle school level on up. So you get your Soccer's Just Better in Atlanta gear. You help out APS, you help out the middle schools, and you help out spreading the word of the beautiful game right there at Grady Baby and Grady Baby Co. That's your opening kickoff. And I broke out the 30-year anniversary golf shirt this morning for Luca and our friends in San Marino. So apparently, Rich Ransom, being the incredible executive producer that he is, has given us news. And they now apparently, it's like I'm sitting here. It's like, wait a second now. You gotta come on. It's like, John, you've had your guest, but now it's time for the breaking news elements that are attached to it. Come on now. Shocking no one, if you think about it. It appears that Dylan Butler Estates has a co-sponsor. Or at least, if we sit there and think of Dylan Butler Estates as the live and work environment attached to NYCFC's soon-to-be new playing stadium, Etihad Park. I'm shocked that City Football Group would invest X number of dollars and have that as the new sponsor for Dylan Butler Estates. I'm stunned. The release from NYCFC, Etihad Park. a 20-year agreement that will see Etihad Airways retain the exclusive naming rights for the stadium being built at Dillon Butler Estate. And then there are updated renderings of Etihad Park in addition to the video that was posted by NYCFC this morning. Apparently, it lit up Times Square and practically every light board and video board that was within range. Quoting Brad Sims, the CEO of NYCFC, "This is a historic announcement for NYCFC. Sorry, New York City FC. I have to read it properly. This is a historic announcement for New York City FC, Etihad Airways, and New York City. Not just Willows Point, Queens, but New York City on the whole." That was a sidebar, he said. "Etihad Airways has been a fantastic partner to the club, capital C, for over a decade. We're proud to call Etihad Park the home of our great club, capital C. For over a decade, we've been investing in New York with a vision of building the city into one of the soccer capitals of the world. Etihad Airways has been alongside us every step of the way. We're thrilled to be making this announcement with them. Etihad Park will be the physical evidence of our deep and long-standing investment in New York City and will become a cathedral of soccer in the United States," end quote. Period, closed quote. And then Brad added another 1-2 sentences. Antonualdo Neves, the CEO of Etihad Airways, he had a couple of sentences himself. The Etihad Airways has been with New York City FC from the club's beginning, expanding their partnership over the past decade. In 2014, the Airways started as a principal and founding partner and became the front of shirt partner for the club's first team and boys academy. And then the press release continues and goes into all of the monies donated and good stuff that they have done. Today's announcement builds on the successful partnership Etihad Airways has built with City Football Group. They've created best-in-class club content. I know a couple of teams that might disagree with that. Fan experiences. Oh, they have fan experiences in multiple stadia in and around the tri-state. And community initiatives designed to collectively deliver real social impact through soccer around the world. Earlier this year, they mentioned the city council and the Dillon Butler Estates redevelopment project. 100% privately financed, seat approximately 25,000, which is entirely too small. And the first fully electric sports stadium in New York City and all Major League Soccer. The jokes are going to write themselves. If they have no offense, plug it back in. I can see that happening like instantaneously. Blow on the outlet and see if that's a problem. 150,000 square feet of public open space, 600. Now, this is interesting. Other than the 2,500 new affordable housing units for Dillon Butler Estates, a new 650-seat public school, brand new hotel and 150,000 square feet of public open space. Willets Point redevelopment project, otherwise known as Dillon Butler Estates, estimated to generate $6.1 billion in economic activity, create 1,550 permanent jobs, 14,200 construction jobs. Scheduled to open ahead of the 2027 MLS regular season. The stadium naming rights agreement was jointly facilitated in-house by New York City FC and City Football Group partnership teams. Translation, they picked up the phone. Bruh, you need to sponsor this. Okay, what do we do? Sign this piece of paper. Okay, I'll sign that piece of paper. So Dillon Butler Estates, the playing section, now is going to be Etihad Park. Please restrain your enthusiasm. Now, in addition to that news, while we were busy talking about the Samarinese football, which is far more exciting than sponsorships for new stadia, there was also other news, officially official, out of Cincinnati. And it's officially official, by the way. Kevin Dinky is officially official. And we talked about Kevin Dinky over the last couple of days. And it is now officially official. 23-year-old acquired from Cercle Bruges, where he led the Belgian Pro League in goals over the past 2 seasons. Dinky acquired as a designated player. Acquired Togolese international forward Kevin Denke. Kevin Denke, thank you. From Cercle Bruges of the Belgian Pro League via transfer. Denke will officially join the club as a DP, so Denke the DP, when the primary transfer window opens in 2025, signed to a contract through 2028 with a club option for 2029. Made over 200 professional appearances in Europe, 78 goals, 22 assists, 38 caps for the Togo national team at the senior level, 9 goals. Quote from Chris Albright, 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences, end of paragraph. Led the top-flight Belgian Pro League with 34 goals over the last 2 seasons. Only 4 players have scored more league goals in Europe over the past 2 seasons than Denke. Kane, Gyökeres, Haaland, and Luc de Jong at PSV. Pro League's top scorer in 23-24 with 27 goals, 8 more than any other player. Upon his signing in the season, he has netted 7 goals in 13 league matches, 11 goals in 23 matches across all comps for Cercle Bruges. Denke, quote, "This choice was natural for me. Felt like the club really wanted me and I can really help the team. I just had this good feeling. So for all of us, it just made sense. FC Cincinnati explained the project to me, and it was a big project. I went there. I saw a game. I saw the stadium. I saw everything, the facilities. And I said, this is incredible. This is amazing." In quotation marks. "I wanted to go to another step in my career, and I think I can have it in Cincinnati," end quote. Current season highlighted by his 5-goal contribution game, 3+2, for Cercle Bruges in Conference League group stage play against St. Gallen. Performance in the prominent continental competition featuring high-finishing clubs across Europe marked his 3rd career professional hat trick. UEFA Conference League is a prominent continental competition featuring high-finishing clubs across Europe. That might be stretching it just a bit. 147 times for Cercle Bruges, 62-20. Joined the Belgian club in January 2021 via transfer from Olympique. Nîmes Olympique, from Nîmes, basically. Spent the majority of professional career after joining the Nîmes youth system in 2014. 30 appearances with Nîmes in Ligue 1, 4+2 in parts of 2 seasons. 9 goals for the Togo national team, 2nd most by any player since his debut for the Sparrowhawks. That's a great nickname. September of 2018, Denke scored in his most recent appearance for country back 4 days ago in their 3-0 win over Equatorial Guinea in AFCON qualifying. So there you go. So Denke is official. We mentioned that the price tag could be as high as 16.1. Then you end up with the bonuses and the 10% add-on that Cercle Bruges has. So Kevin Denke official for FC Cincinnati. And then you have Etihad Park, the playing section of Dillon Butler Estates, because we're going to continue to call it Dillon Butler Estates. The live, work, play element will always be Dillon Butler Estates. I didn't know about the school. The 650-student school. Knew about live, work, play. Still think 25,000 is too small. But there you go. So Etihad Park, that was probably like one phone conversation and the sliding over of an asset in a line item in a budget somewhere. The vertical integration of City Football Group. But since it's in a league different than the Premier League, it's cool because you're shifting monies this way. So Etihad Park will be the playing aspect of 25,000-seat, 2 small Dillon Butler Estates. Dillon Butler Estates will remain as is. And Kevin Denke, we now have the official pronunciation. Kevin Denke officially as a striker for FC Cincinnati through the 28 season, option year for 29. He's excited, went to a match, he's all gassed up, and he's ready to go. So Kevin Denke official for everything involving FC Cincinnati. So good morning, Alex. Good morning, Dawn Star. Good morning, Sharif. Morning, Rich. And morning, Tom. So that's where we are this morning. So that is an elongated opening kickoff that went, almost 28 minutes because we had a guest. Our buddy Luca Pelliccioni from the press office with the San Marino national team. Now that they are officially in League C, and it's great to have him on to continue to see what is going on and what continues to evolve involving the growth of the game. 210th in the world and you are, if things lay out, you're 2 wins away from qualifying for the 26th competition here in this hemisphere. You like apples? How about them apples? That's fantastic. All right. Show breakdown this morning. We got a lot of stuff to get into internationally here in hour number 1. There's a lot of international stuff because right now teams are practicing and they're getting ready for the round of 8 in the conference semifinals in Major League Soccer. Niko Moreno joining us at 10:30, as he always does. We'll discuss what he thinks about these matchups. Our buddy Nino Torres comes in fully loaded at 10 o'clock. He will have all of his topics ready to go, and we will break down what's on his mind. We got to talk about CONMEBOL. We've got to talk about Portugal. We have to talk about Victor Gyökeres and all of the youngins that might be heading over to Manchester United because of Ruben Amorim. So we got to talk CONMEBOL. We'll talk Europe starting at 10 o'clock. And I know that Nino always has some really good stories and other storylines there as well. But then when the last half hour of the show, our buddy Niko Moreno coming in, and we'll discuss Major League Soccer to kind of get you geared up and leaning in the direction to get you ready for the playoffs coming up this weekend. And we will all be there. I know that apparently Maddie and I are on the same plane. So Maddie and I are on the same plane heading down to Orlando. By the way, on Saturday morning and early afternoon, it is Academy Soccer once again with Atlanta United. It will be Maddie and Jason for the first game at 10, and then Jarrett and I will have the second game at 12. Then I instantaneously have to hop in a car, take the perimeter, go to the airport because I've got to be on a plane to get to Orlando. So we'll see what happens there. But atlutd.com/live, you get I think it's Nashville that's coming into town this weekend. So the U18s and the U16s, that'll be at 10 and noon on Saturday morning. atlutd.com/live. You start your day with the Academy, then you work your way into the Major League Soccer first 2 semifinals, and then you get into the other 2 round of 8s on Sunday that include Atlanta United at 3:30 from Central Florida. By the way, now that we are there, I need to check the juice boxes really quickly, and I want to see the layout of the juice boxes and see if they've changed. This is probably going to end up being something that we will constantly monitor going into the weekend, and we'll talk about it with we'll talk about it with Niko to a great extent when it comes to the juice boxes to see if they have in fact changed a whole lot. Wow. Okay. NYC and Red Bulls really hasn't changed a whole lot. Kind of changed a juice box or 2 one way or the other. NYC is a plus 120 at home at Citi Field, where they're only having the 100 and the 300 level available. 22.5, they're capping attendance. Draw at 90 minutes is a plus 258. Red Bulls has moved up slightly to a plus 204. LAFC is a minus 111, no real surprise. Seattle's a plus 283. That one's gone down. Draw is a plus 265. LAG a minus 145 at home in Carson. 90-minute draws a plus 316, and Minnesota United to win a plus 333. Now, we've talked about Orlando City. We talked about the purple team. We talked about Atlanta United. Where the juice boxes were yesterday, I thought that they would compress over time. They are not. They're expanding. Right now, juice boxes, purple team, minus 154. Your 90-minute draws a plus 309. And a team that is on the hot streak of hot streaks right now in Major League Soccer in the postseason, the right time of year, is a plus 371. A plus 371. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. That is intriguing, to say the very least. It is expanded to 371 for Atlanta in 90 minutes to win outright against the purple team in Central Florida. 3:30 or probably 3:40 kick Sunday afternoon. It's gone up. So we'll see what Niko has to say about that. Another piece of a developing story involving us here at SDH. The 2025 Georgia High School soccer season kicks off with the Emory Sports Medicine Creek Cup. And this came out once again at the top of the hour. February 12 through 15, the Creek Cup, sponsored by Emory Sports Medicine. First tournament of its kind in over 15 years. 12 schools from the Southeast, 12 boys teams competing at Johns Creek, 8 girls teams competing at Northview. We'll be broadcasting them live. Food trucks, concessions, and swag, free access to all games for sponsors. So the Creek Cup from the 12th through the 15th. Boys games, the gold bracket, Thursday. Walton, Sequoia, Campbell, North Atlanta. Saturday, the third place game and the championship game on the 15th of February. The Cardinal bracket, all games played at Johns Creek. Dothan High out of Alabama plays Tucker at 6. Johns Creek and Murray County at 8. The Titan bracket at Northview High School, Midtown, Greenbrier from the Augusta area, Northview and LaGrange on Friday. Third place game at 10 o'clock, and the championship game Saturday the 15th at noon. So basically what you're doing is you're lining all of the championship games up in a sequence for a massive day of soccer on SDH. Then you end up with the green bracket at Northview, Campbell and LaGrange on the girls' side, Johns Creek and Midtown on the girls' side. Championship game is on the 15th at 11. Third place games at 1. The blue bracket at Northview, Walton, North Atlanta, and Greenbrier. So Greenbrier's boys and girls are involved. But the 15th, by the way, you end up with games on Thursday and Friday. So Thursday the 13th of February, Friday the 14th of February. Championship games. It is basically a championship Saturday on SDH. We're probably going to be on SDH and SDH2. So you're going to have everything lined up. But the championship games, you're going to have 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8. Then not to be confused with and that's on the boys' side. Then on the girls' side, championship games at 11, 1, 3, and 5. So if you would please give Johns Creek Soccer a follow. Soccer JCHS. Final Four in 2023. But the Glads are hosting the first annual Creek Cup. We're going to be blowing it up here on SDH as the start of our soccer season on the high school side of things. So that's the other piece of breaking news this morning involving broadcasts on our end. I was mentioning this morning about Dylan Butler Estates and the new sponsor, Etihad. I'm shocked. I say. Speaking of said club and said ownership group, from the Times, Matt Lawton and Martin Ziegler, two guys you don't want on an independent headline, but when they're together, you really don't want them on a headline? Headline: Club's confident Premier League will defeat Manchester City in a vote. It's understood Wolves and Everton, who had previously voted against tougher associated party transaction rules, will now side with the league. You wonder what's in it for them. Now, from Ziegler and from Matt Lawton. Growing confidence among some clubs at the Premier League is enough support to win a momentous vote on Friday on sponsorship rules. The vote, which follows a legal challenge by Manchester City, needs 14 of the 20 clubs to back the Premier League's proposal to update the rules on associated party transactions. Understood that Wolves and Everton, who had voted against tougher APT rules a year ago, now supporting the Premier League. That could mean efforts by City, backed by Villa, to block the vote will fall just short of the 7 clubs necessary to veto it. Vote is believed to be on a knife edge, with senior figures frantically lobbying before the shareholders' meeting in London. Villa had backed City in calling for the vote to be postponed. As things stand, the Premier League remains determined to press ahead in the hope of introducing proposed rule amendments that City maintain are, quote, unlawful, close quote, period. A veto would plunge English football's top flight deeper into crisis, according to both Lawton and Ziegler. The legal challenge by City in June, brought after the Premier League rejected a huge new Etihad sponsorship deal, and this is why I'm bringing this up. A legal challenge by City in June, brought after the Premier League rejected a huge new Etihad sponsorship deal as being not of fair market value, sparked the civil war among England's most powerful clubs. The Premier League wants clubs to agree to changes in 3 key areas, which would include making it easier for bigger sponsorship deals from related parties to be approved. However, in City's latest letter to clubs, they say those amendments remain unlawful and no vote on amending them should be taken until the full response from the tribunal panel is received. While the bulk of the clubs are very much on the side of the Premier League in this dispute, it's thought possible that City may yet find support from Newcastle, Forest, Chelsea, Leicester, and Villa. That's 6. You just need one more to keep the event from happening. Lawton and Ziegler continue. It's being seen as a watershed moment for the Premier League, with Villa owner Nasser Sawiris suggesting a postponement of 90 days to avoid further legal challenges or view the findings of a tribunal found in favor of City's complaint. Some of the existing rules on APTs are unlawful. It emerged this week. Villa had written to the other 19 clubs urging caution, with Sawiris telling the Telegraph the embattled Premier League requires a fresh start. Quote in Sawiris' statement, "In our view, a vote in 90 days on amended terms, taking into consideration the tribunal's findings, will have a significantly greater chance of securing the unanimous support of all 20 league clubs." So then we go to the Telegraph to follow up that particular train of thought from Sawiris and West Ham. Tom Morgan and John Percy at the Telegraph. Once again, multiple bylines. We always know what we say about multiple bylines. Quoting Telegraph Sport, they'd previously reported how Villa's ownership has grown increasingly sympathetic towards the Abu Dhabi-owned club's cause, but a written intervention ahead of the crunch vote is seen by rivals as significant. Arguments raised by Villa, as the club suggests the 90-day postponement, include fresh potential legal challenges, ongoing uncertainties around the tribunal findings, and also further changes to the rulebook after the introduction of an independent regulator. The letter that Sawiris wrote, "It is now abundantly clear that any vote, if passed, will result in immediate further litigation by Manchester City FC and an associated defense by the EPL, incurring material further costs and unnecessary distraction and devotion of time to this issue. Highly unlikely that the tribunal will conclude within the coming 3 months and that an APT rule that takes into consideration the tribunal's verdict will be supported by all clubs cannot be contested. The imminent establishment of the government's new independent football regulator and its incorporation necessitates now more than ever that clubs within the Premier League present their cases to the existing regulator collective as a unified front, rather than as each club presenting individually conflicting arguments." Further acrimonious back and forth exchanges immediately leaked to the press not only weaken the Premier League's leadership and that of its executives, but moreover, the Premier League is an organization critically custodian of the billions invested in the Premier League and in English football. What are associated party transaction rules, by the way? So there's a reason that I've gone this far backward after we talked about what happened at Dillon Butler Estates this morning. Introduced in December 2021, amended in March of 24. Introduced by the Premier League in an effort to safeguard the financial stability, integrity, and competitive balance of the league, close quote, period. Designed to ensure any commercial deals done by clubs with organizations linked with its owners are done at a fair market value. Premier League says APT rules seek to ensure long-term financial sustainability of clubs by limiting reliance on enhanced commercial revenues received from entities linked to the club's ownership. Fairness amongst clubs so that clubs are not able to derive an unfair advantage over domestic competitors by increasing revenues or reducing costs via arrangements with entities linked to a club's ownership that are not at fair market value. City have written to rivals telling them that they are voting blind on amendments to APT rules that remain void, while a tribunal clarifies a 175-page ruling last month. League wrote a big letter saying that the interpretation The club's interpretation of findings and taking exception to criticism. So the league dismissed it. They sent a big letter to the 175-page decision. League's been consulting for more than a month. In June, after the hearing began, Villa's co-owner Nasser Sawiris admitted concerns over the Premier League profit and sustainability rules. Rules do not make sense and are not good for football in an interview with Financial Times, adding that the rules are anti-competitive. At a Premier League meeting in June, Villa also failed with a proposal to increase the allowed losses over 3 years to £135 million. Remember, it's 105 over a 3-year period, or you're in violation of the profit and sustainability rules, and this is when you get your hand slapped and you either have you have to sell players off, you could have points deductions, all that kind of stuff that we were talking about before. Villa wanted to expand the idea by $30 million, £30 million over a 3-year period, from 105 to 135. Villa's argument was voted out. Sawiris' warning of civil war. Have to move on from the row with the champions, and with regulation looming, present a united front to government. Astronomical costs relating to the row with City will also spiral even further as clubs consider fresh challenges, according to Sawiris. Collectively agreeing to new APT rules would lead to a fresh start and draw a line under the rift sparked during the Super League breakaway back in 21. Once again, 14 of 20. That's the key. 13 won't do it for you. You need 14 of the 20 to agree, or it's not going to happen. So that's where you are, and that was why, kind of in a sideways way, I brought in the Dylan Butler Estates element this morning. Questions about fair market value. What is it going to be? What's fair market value going to be? Morning, Harry. What is Etihad Park? What is the fair market value? What is the value of that? And would it be fair market value in comparison to something that would be going on with the Premier League? So just something to keep an eye on. Dylan Butler Estates gets a new sports sponsor. But is it just shifting of line items? Kind of what we have been seeing with City Football Group and other places. Like I said, just keep an eye out for it. That's why we bring this kind of stuff to the table. Speaking of Nottingham Forest, it's been a busy morning with Nottingham Forest, by the way, or busy last couple of days with Nottingham Forest, by the way. And Evangelinas Marinakis, he's been a very busy man. If I could spell Evangelinas. Marinakos. So, you had a couple of things involving Evangelinas Marinakis, and we'll go to Barron's. From Agence France Presse, and various and other sources. We'll go to Barron's to start off. Agence France Presse released this. Olympiacos in Greece slammed a probe targeting their top management in connection with the death of a riot policeman at the hand of hooligans last year. Judicial authorities have called owner and president Evangelos Marinakis to appear next week to answer possible misdemeanor charges of supporting a criminal organization and fomenting sports violence. The club, which is also active across several sports besides football, said in a statement, quote, "This latest development is yet another attempt to blackmail Olympiacos FC, aiming to undermine both the Olympiacos family and its president. It follows the unjust collective targeting of our fans," it added, which said was fueled, quote, "by specific political and business interest," close quote, period. In December of 23, a riot officer fatally injured by a marine flare fired outside a sports hall during a volleyball match involving Olympiacos and Panathinaikos. Died in hospital. Stadia across the country closed for several weeks as a result of the incident. More than a dozen people, reportedly hardline Olympiacos fans, were subsequently placed in pretrial detention as a part of the investigation. Several of those held are said to be senior members of Gate 7, Olympiacos' main supporters club. Authorities suspect they could not have operated without the knowledge of club officials. Besides Marinakis, 4 other members of the club board, including Piraeus Mayor Yanis Morales, have been called to appear on Tuesday, next week, where authorities will decide whether to formalize the charges facing them. Olympiacos on Wednesday said Marinakis, who owns both Nottingham Forest and Rio Ave in Portugal, has a clear conscience, cannot be intimidated, and will not back down. The Piraeus Mayor Morales has also denied any involvement. So you've got Barron's, Press Reader, MSN. They're all discussing this. So Evangelos Marinakis is going to have to spend some time in court on Tuesday. If you were, say, a manager and had a gig, I think you'd like for the gig to last more than one training session. And in one instance, it did not. And for this, we discuss Piacenza. Piacenza Calcio 1919. And this happened a couple days ago. And I don't know, and Piacenza's in Serie D. So Nick always mentions how, so Serie D would be, say, let's see, if Serie A is the majors, triple, so it'd be like single A. If you're thinking like single A baseball or like really low-level hockey, that kind of organization involvement and interest. Piacenza, they had a coach. They fired him. They brought in a second coach. So here's what happened. Earlier in the, and this is Wednesday morning, basically. Wednesday morning, we talked about Alberto Gilardino going out, Patrick Vieira coming in. Wasn't quite like that for Piacenza. So Piacenza Wednesday morning, or Tuesday night probably, sacked Carmine Parlato and director of sport Alessio Sestu. Wednesday morning. It says in the morning, this is from our friends at Football Italia. So in the morning, Piacenza, Serie D, sacks a manager and their director of sport, hiring Simone Bentivoglio to take over. Bentivoglio held one training session interrupted by an angry fan protest that saw them invade the ground and demand that he be dismissed, threatening to boycott all matches. So you fire a manager and the director of sport. Then you hire a dude, and he's out having his first training session. How you figure this is going? How you figure? Maybe it's one of those where Bentivoglio is like, okay, you have the vision of like maybe Ted Lasso or something like that. Something completely off the wall where everybody's doing toe touchies and they're not doing anything with drills or anything like that. So, coach, director of sport, sacked in the morning. New coach in. First training session, invaded by fans and protesters, probably both. Angry fan protest invades the training session, demanding that Bentivoglio be sacked, and the fans are threatening to boycott all the matches. Furious, and the fans said that they were furious because Bentivoglio had been involved in a gambling scandal in 2011 where he accepted a plea bargain of 13 months being banned. So this is 13 years ago, and these fans have not forgotten. Bentivoglio was in charge for a couple of hours before the clubs thought that, this isn't going to work. Terminated his contract by mutual consent. So instead, Piacenza recalls Stefano Rossini last night. The coach who'd only been fired on October 7 to make way for Parlato. So this gets better. Basically, Piacenza, and let's find out where they are in Serie D, by the way. Because if you're out of Serie D, then, you're talking like, you are way out of the situation. So right now in the quarterfinals in Serie D, Piacenza is not in it. Regina Enna Scafatese, Martina Calcio, L'Aquila, Guidonia, Livorno, Follonica Gavorano, Ravenna waiting the match in 6 days of Vigor Senegalia and Castelfidardo, Charlens Muzan and Dolomiti Bolognesi, Sant'Angelo and Piacenza. So Sant'Angelo and Piacenza are in one of the quarterfinals, and that's coming up in short order. So they're in the round of 8 right now in the standings in Serie D. Coppa Italia Serie D standings and league table. Nothing happens until the 27th. Nothing happens till the 27th. You were in the round of 32, round of 16, you make it through. Piacenza beat Villavalle. So Piacenza is in the round of 8 in Serie D to try to get out of Single A, the equivalent of Single A. But you had Stefano Rossini, who was head coach, until October 7th. Then he's fired. You bring in a dude. You fire him. You bring in another guy who fans remember from 13 years previous had been involved in a gambling scandal and got a 13-month ban 13 years ago, holding his first training session. Fans remembering this dude go out onto the training pitch, have a protest, basically threaten to boycott matches if this dude is coach. The club fires him only to bring back guy number 1 that they fired in October for this round of 8s match in Serie D that's going to be in a couple of weeks, or like a week. Coach number 1 fired. Coach number 2 fired, plus the sporting director. Coach number 3, in his first training session, gets to see a protest hanging out right in front of him. Club's like, yeah, this probably ain't going to work. So 1 training session, fired, only to bring back coach number 1 October. So you had basically 4 dudes, or 4 different situations, 3 different dudes, only to go back to coach number 1 in a 6-week period. Next time Nick is on, we have to ask about Serie D. Club had been a regular in Serie A, declared bankrupt back in 2012. And Piacenza now in Serie D in the round of 8, trying to get out of Serie D to get into Serie C. This has soccer over there written all over it. Coach 1, fired. Coach 2, sporting director, fired. Coach 3, not forgotten from a betting scandal, fired that morning. You bring back coach number 1. What in the blue-ish? But once again, to me, that's soccer over there. That's just how it goes. Not a surprise. Not a surprise one bit. Like I said, we got a lot of international stuff, and I'll try and get through the rest of it on the tail end of everything that we have. We've got Nino and Niko coming up here in hour number 2 with all of the stuff going on around the planet. We'll find out what's on Nino's mind, CONMEBOL, Europe, all points in between. Vinicius Jr. is making calls for more help in the battle against racism. Ashifa Kassam at The Guardian spoken about his fight against racism, describing it as an ongoing battle that he is happy to take on, warning that he alone can't fight all that black people have been suffering, end quote. He's been at the forefront of fighting racism in the league after facing abuse at more than 10 separate grounds in Spain. March, he laid bare the abuse, saying that the barrage was chipping away at his desire to play. Video published this week by the Brazilian Football Confederation. He said he believed things were heading in the right direction. Remarks come weeks after police in Spain arrested 4 men accused of coordinating an online hate campaign against him. Months earlier, 3 Valencia fans sentenced to 8 months in prison for hate crimes, in which was described as Spain's first conviction of its kind. It's about damn time, frankly. 2023, 4 people arrested over accusations of hanging an effigy of Vinicius from a Madrid bridge. Speaking before Brazil's Black Consciousness Day on the 20th of November, yesterday, Vinicius said he was content, however, to be the voice of those unable to speak out. Quote, I know the strength I have, my speech, and I can speak for all those people who don't have the strength or who are afraid or who go through many things and people don't always believe them. So I'm very happy to be able to help and to keep going strong in the fight along with all the players and all the people who've been able to help us, period, close quote. In October, Vinicius said he believed his battle against racism had led him to lose out on the prestigious Ballon d'Or. Quote, I will do it 10 times if I have to. They're not ready. The football world is not ready to accept a player who fights against the system. Sources told Reuters later that his view and that of his management staff was that the football world wasn't ready to accept a player who fights against the system. Juan Mata is in the ownership group now officially for San Diego FC. Joining the investment group, first active player to become a partner in a U.S. franchise. Too late for Mata to be involved as a player. He'd been released by Vissel Kobe in January, eventually joining Sydney as a free agent, Sydney's Wanderers in the A-League, Western Sydney. Become a part owner with a small shareholding while he continues to be a professional. San Diego owned by Muhammad Mansour and by the Sikwan tribe, Sikwan band of the Kumeyaay Nation, paid a reported $500 million for the expansion slot. Statement released, Mata is thrilled. The commitment of both this club and right to dream to community impact, excellence, and a vision for long-term success aligns perfectly with my own values. I look forward to contributing my experience and passion for the game, working alongside everyone here to build a club inspires both on and off the pitch. So Juan Mata is now involved, engaged, and is ready to go. Speaking of UEFA, I should have brought this in after we had our discussion about San Marino. Nick Ames at The Guardian. Kosovo is going to appeal against the 3-0 loss for leaving the field over pro-Serbian chants. The game in Romania was abandoned near the end. Kosovo plans to take the case to CAS. Preparing an appeal to CAS after UEFA handed them a 3-0 defeat for walking off the field during the Nations League tie against Romania in Bucharest, eventually abandoned when they elected not to return. Kosovo left the pitch during second-half stoppage time upon hearing chants of Serbia from the home crowd. Match suspended when it was clear they would refuse to resume proceedings when that was drawn to a halt. UEFA has judged that they, in effect, forfeited the match in a ruling that will attract significant attention given the problems around Serbia-related chanting in European stadia. Although Romania were given a win that ensured a 100% record in their C2 group, they were fined about €128,000. More damagingly, they will play their next home match behind closed doors after UEFA found their fans guilty of xenophobic chants against Hungary during the fixture, a €30,000 fine imposed for transmitting pro-Serbia messages. Kosovo's decision to walk off understood to have been led by their team rather than dictated by the federation. The federation condemned racist provocations and behavior from the crowd, alleging Kosovo as Serbia chants were also among those heard, said it warned UEFA such occurrences were possible. Now they're going to take the case to CAS. Romanian Football Federation had accused Kosovo of a premeditated decision to leave the pitch and acting provocatively. Romania's other fines were handed down for a series of other crowd offenses, including throwing of objects, lighting of fireworks, use of a laser pointer, causing a disturbance during national anthems, and blocking public passageways. Romania also warned for the improper conduct of its team. Kosovo fined €6,000 for the same reason. Romania fined by UEFA last year over pro-Serbia chanting and the display of a banner reading Kosovo is Serbia by supporters during a meeting of the sides at the same venue in a Euro qualifier. UEFA fined Kosovo €61,000 last month for fans' misconduct during their Nations League tie against Romania in Pristina. They have the three-step procedure for abandonment of matches marred by racism, but it does not apply to chants that may be deemed political in nature. Quote, we do not treat this as political if you deny the existence of a country. It is a clear racist chant. And that quote was attributed to Bayram Shala, the Kosovo team manager. Complex situation, according to The Guardian, that football shows little sign of being able to navigate effectively. Euro 2024 had several incidents involving Balkan nations and pro-Serbia chanting, generally in the context of its claim to sovereignty over Kosovo, which has become a persistent problem in parts of Europe. So that's the fun part of all of the European competition that we have this morning. Apparently, Julian Lopetegui has 2 matches to save his job at West Ham, apparently, as the club is starting to consider options. Needs results against Newcastle and Arsenal. Former Dortmund manager Edin Terzic is under consideration, according to Jacob Steinberg at The Guardian. So David Sullivan, West Ham's largest shareholder, been reluctant to make midseason firings, but 5 points above the bottom after winning 3 of their first 11. Edin Terzic made internal checks on former Denmark coach Kasper Hjulmand, former Benfica coach Roger Schmidt, and Stuttgart Sebastian Hoeneß. The Guardian understands other coaches in the running, long and short-term appointments are being considered. Graham Potter is available. West Ham have never seemed drawn to him. Disquiet over recruitment also led to the focus on technical director Tim Stuyten. There have been reports that Stuyten is cool on Lopetegui, understood the German was involved in the process that led to his appointment. West Ham would prefer not to be pushed into sacking Lopetegui so soon. Previously managed Porto, Sevilla, Wolves, Spain, and Real Madrid, available after leaving Wolves at the start of last season. Remember that. You had a big blanking falling out. Hey, are you going to invest? Nope. All right, I'm out. And then Gary O'Neill took over at Wolves. Checking to see if there's any other news that's broke this morning. We mentioned Eric Quill as the new head coach at FC Dallas. There's going to be a big to-do with Quill and FC Dallas early in December. That's the next month. The next month is where it's going to be. Australia, Colombia, Japan joining the USWNT for the 2025 She Believes Cup. That is going to be in Houston, Glendale, and San Diego. 3 double headers with points total after the round robin deciding the winner. Debut appearances for Colombia and Australia, who replaced Canada and Brazil, 3rd in a row for Japan, 5th overall. In the years since the inaugural tournament win in 2016 for the WNT, they've only lost the title to France and England in 2017 and 2019, respectively, boast a strong record against their 2025 opponents. 88 matches against the challengers. The WNT have only lost twice. Undefeated against Colombia, losing once each to Japan and Australia. She Believes Cup MVP award will also return for the 6th year in a row after Sophia Smith won it in 2024. Fans will have the opportunity to vote for their player of the tournament online. And so right now, Thursday, February 20, Hell in a Shell, doubleheader. Sunday at State Farm in Glendale, doubleheader involving the U.S. February 26th at Snapdragon. Hopefully they will have figured out the ground situation. Doubleheader there. Tickets on pre-sale until Friday, November 22nd, when they go on pre-sale for all venues. TBS, Universo, Max, Peacock. All non-U.S. matches available on Max and in Spanish on Universo and Peacock. It is that time. Because I hear a little ding in my ear when folks pop into a room. It's that time. It is, we are well into hour number 1 because we started early this morning. But you know what that means. We're starting hour number 2. I would flash the gun show here to go fully loaded, but there's someone who's more fully loaded than me. He's in better shape than I am. He's got the pipes better than me. And it's time to bring in our buddy Nino Torres from Gold TV because we are, in fact, fully loaded.
Yes, sir. Yellow. How you doing, John? Everyone in Atlanta, everyone across the nation. Thank you for having me on this gorgeous, spectacular, and sensational Thursday here in Provo. As far as the forecast, right, man? Everything else is not that exciting on this side of the globe, brother. Thank you for having me, man.
As always, my friend, and I know that we need to start with CONMEBOL so we can get the gray clouds out of the way. We've got to talk about CONMEBOL and what happened. Where do you want to start? You want to start at the top of the ladder, or do you want to start with the dearly beloved? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, we'll start with the positives, with the ups. We'll talk about the downs in a second because there's a lot to talk about the downs. But I'm so happy. I'm so happy for Ecuador, man. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy for Ecuador. You have no idea because they could have been second, right? Because they have that 3 point taken away at the beginning of the qualifiers. But even with those last 3 points, they're number 3 on the table, winning for the first time in 59 years away in Colombia. Wow. Taking down Colombia, I was gonna say the biggest loser, but they're not. They're not the biggest loser of this series, of this round of the qualifiers. Again, Brazil and Uruguay, two giants. They fought in Brazil, and again, more of the same for Brazil. John, you got the table up? No. I think they're number 5. I think they are.
Spot me a second. We can sit there and we'll look it up. But I know you're right there. I mean, it's not 5.
I think it's 5.
It's a stunner, an absolute stunner.
And again, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not finished in the top 2. I mean, they're not going to finish in the top 2. They're number 5, right?
Brazil 5.
Yeah, number 5. Yes, they got 5 world champions, 5 World Cups, but they're number 5. Okay, and that's not going to change. I don't think that we're going to see Brazil in the top 3. I could be wrong. I don't know, but I don't think they're going to finish in the top 3 because the top 3 is way too solid, and they're not going to throw points. It's gonna and it's going to be the extra, right? The extra value there to leave Brazil behind. We finished ahead of Brazil. Who in the planet, in any other World Cup qualifier in other region, can leave Brazil number 5? Okay, and I'm going to go again on this matter because we are proud here that we have the toughest conference in the planet. Mm-hmm. You can talk all you want about Europe. San Marino, by the way, they got their victories. They got more victories than Peru in this year.
They got more victories than Manchester City in their last 3, brother.
I'm real. I'm good. I'm so
San Marino, baby. We broke it out this morning, and we caught up with him live from the press office. Fantastic.
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. I'm so happy for them too, man. San Marino, it's unreal. It's unreal. And I want to talk about this also in the World Cup qualifiers, because since Gustavo Alfaro took over in Paraguay. Since he took over, brother, they got 15. No, is it 3 victories? 12 points. 12 points out of 18 possible points. 3 victories, 3 draws, no losses.
Mm-hmm.
All right, no losses. And among those games, they beat Argentina and Brazil. All right, they beat Argentina and Brazil. I mean, I know. I wish, I think Alfaro is he has a talent, right? He has a talent to elevate teams. They're not supposed to be great, right? But they can go toe to toe with the great ones in CONMEBOL. He did it with Ecuador. He's doing it with Paraguay. And please, Fossati, please forgive me, brother, but I think Alfaro could have been the best choice on the head coaching position for Peru. I think he would have been the right choice. But that comes from the Peruvian Soccer Federation. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a second. We're gonna leave that for last. Okay.
Yeah.
And they stole the point. They stole the point in El Alto, brother. 15,000 feet above the sea level, and they came back. And they could have won it. They could have won it. I mean, Jesus, they got one last chance. They could have won. They could have won that game. It would have been ridiculous. You got 15 points out of 18 possible. They were just this close. And they are they are the big winners of this, not only of this round, but in the last couple of rounds. And of course, Chile, they went into a shootout, man. With Venezuela. 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-4, 4-2. 6 goals in one night in Santiago. And we were watching Peru barely crossing the halfway line at La Bombonera. I was like, yeah, we're dead last now, because I didn't think that Chile was gonna wake up like that, erupt like that against the Venezuela team that is well coached, well established. They have a true chance to go into the first World Cup ever for them, but they fell apart. So now they're in jeopardy. Because I'm not gonna say we're gonna beat them, but they're gonna play against us. It's a tough last stretch of the qualifiers for Venezuela. And but in the end, I think they're gonna go. In the end, I think they're gonna go on the last 3 on the table. Is gonna be Bolivia, Paraguay. No, I mean Chile. And Peru. Those are the 3 that we're gonna watch the World Cup on TV, brother. Yeah.
Well, you've got the way that things are lined up with 6 matches to go. You've got 12 in the barn, then you play 18. So 3 more windows, basically. The way that it's laid out right now, and it is Argentina at 25 points.
Right.
Uruguay's at 20. And this is where the chaos begins, because you've got Uruguay at 20, Ecuador at 19 at +7 in goal difference. Colombia at 19 at +5 goal difference. Brazil at number 5 at 18 points. Paraguay at 17 points. So you have separating 2 from 6, 3 points, 5 teams, 2 through 6, before we get into the qualifying spot where I think you play Oceania or something like that. Bolivia, Venezuela, looks like they're going to be battling for that. 13 points and 12 points right now. Chile's at 9, Peru at 1, 4, and 7. May your God bless you, my friend. You're at 7 points at 1, 4, and 7. So that's where things stand. But 2 through 6 separated by only 1 win. You get a hot week, and you could go from 6 to 2 in a hurry. Yeah,
in no time. And what's the next round? You got the next round there, John?
Hang on just a second.
I know we play Bolivia. That's all I know. And we hope that we can get points over Bolivia. But
March 19th. So you got a little while. You got 4 months to sit and stew about it. So it is Uruguay, Argentina in March.
You know they're going to take
Peru, Bolivia on Wednesday, March 19th. Brazil, Colombia, Paraguay, Chile, and Ecuador and Venezuela. And then a week later, on the 26th of March,
we go to Venezuela.
Venezuela, Peru, Colombia, Paraguay, Bolivia, Uruguay, Argentina, Brazil, and Chile and Ecuador. So that's what happens in March, 2 matches in a week's time. Peru has Bolivia and Venezuela in March.
Yeah. I mean, it looks promising, right? Because they are your immediate rivals. They are the ones that you want to catch. I don't think we can. I don't think we have the weapons. I don't think we have the team. I don't think we have the coach. I don't think that we've made the right decisions. And we can't just score. We can't score. We score 1 goal this year, man. Yeah. I'm sorry, 2. 2 goals in the year, the entire freaking year, man. You kidding me? I mean, this is a game where it is that simple, but at the same time it's so complex. But it's just so simple. The team that scores the most goals wins. Yeah, that's it. That's the essence of soccer, and we cannot get it together. Things like looks like the freaking goal is like 500 yards away. You know, we gotta take the train. We gotta take the cab to go to the opponent's goal, and we're not getting there. And we're not gonna win. We might beat Bolivia, maybe 1-0, maybe a penalty, but then we're gonna go to Venezuela in Maturi most likely, and they're not gonna lose that game. Yeah, they're not gonna lose that chance because they are so close. They're so close to be for the first time ever, and they're not gonna let it go. They're not gonna let us sleep, and we're not. We're not.
I mean, you sound completely and totally just down about the whole thing, man.
Defeated. We're out. We're out. That's why I sent you the
yeah.
The
Peruvian Hope's funeral and all their attendees. Literally, that's how he wrote it to me this morning.
Yes, the Peruvian funeral hopes, man. It's crazy because all right, what do we start here? First thing, the last couple of games, what the coach did, right? Yep. So we have 3 wing backs, 3 right backs, all right? Why in the world you use 3 right backs on the same 11? Why would you do that? Why? He did it twice. He didn't did it once. He did it twice. We got Sonia Vincula and Andy Polo. All 3 right backs. One as a right back, one as a right mid, and the other one as a left back. Same thing. Next game, he changed it. He only changed it 10 minutes. 10 minutes with 10 minutes to spare in La Bombonera. Oh, let me get a Vincula on the right back because he's the right back for Boca Juniors, right? He is the best player for Boca Juniors in the past 100 games, playing as a right back. No, let me be creative here. I'm going to use him as a left back. Even having taking the corner kicks with the left foot. All right. So I don't know. So with that said, right, and then the biggest issue that we have here is that we cannot create goal scoring situations. We just can't. And it's just after we recover the possession, right? Because we get attacked a lot. We recover 1, 2, 3 passes. The 4th pass is gone. We lose the ball, and we lose the ball, and we lose the ball again. If you lose the ball that many times, like you not find your teammate, you cannot find your targets. It's forget about the strikers, forget about scoring. You're not even I mean, John, I'm not lying to you. We could barely cross the halfway line. We crossed the halfway line, I think 3 times
Ugh.
against Argentina. 3 times.
Mm.
Okay. That mentality of we're gonna go there and try to not lose. Every time, 99% of the times, they get that mentality going into a game, you lose.
Yeah.
99% of the times. Okay, and it's ridiculous. And then we're going back home, and the freaking president of the Peruvian Soccer Federation is out now. It's out now, and then he, because he was arrested. Remember, he was being arrested for a couple of weeks, and he got a preliminary sentence of I think it's about 36 months. But then he got out because he got out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He got out. All right. So immediately after he got out, all right, we're gonna do an emergency meeting here. We're gonna get the soccer council to analyze the foundations of Peruvian soccer. What are you talking about, President? Man, what are you talking about, man? Just go back there and get your things straight first, and then we talk. Because to give you an idea, so how messed up is this? His chauffeur, his chauffeur, not anyone anyone qualified, right? He got this position in CONMEBOL in Peru.
Wow.
He is his chauffeur, right? Not chauffeur.
Wow.
He is the security officer for CONMEBOL in Peru.
Wow.
He's chauffeur. Hey, let's stop at Uber. Hey, Uber. Hey, you want this position? No, I'm sorry, man. I got a couple of runs to do, so I cannot do it. Oh, let me call my chauffeur. Then he's gonna be the one. Yes. That's how messed up is the situation in Peru. Wow. And the only man in the Peruvian Soccer Federation who can, he's the only one. He's the only one who knows about soccer in the Peruvian Soccer Federation. It's Oblitas, Juan Carlos Oblitas, who was a coach. He a tremendous player, fantastic coach, executive for sporting staff for the Peruvian Soccer Federation. He's holding hostage there, because if he leaves, because most likely, what will you do? If you are among crooks all around you, but you try to fight and you try to
well, one of two things happen. Well, one of a couple things happen. One, everyone around you encourages you to leave for your own best interest, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Two, you keep fighting the fight, and knowing what might be coming, you're a far braver soul than a lot of other folks out there if you continue to fight up against that brick wall that's there.
Yes.
Or you become, or the third option, which is the saddest of all three, you become a part of the problem.
Yeah. Those are the three options, and we have another problem in coming, because Chemo de Solar, who is a legend here in Peru, they call him up. When was that? Last year? I think it's like a year and a half ago. All right, Chemo, you're gonna be the head of the under 19s, under 18s, under 17, under 15 teams. All right, you're in charge. All right. So, but he said this. Okay, I want to take this job, but I gotta do it my way. You're gonna let it do it my way. And then back and forth, and then finally, all right, do your way. The guy, man, he went all over across the country, searching for players, creating tournaments, finding new ways to fund the clubs in different regions of Peru. He gathered all these players. He got them here. And he's working his way. He's working his ass off to take these kids to the next level. And then after what happened with the Peruvian president? He was like, you know what, I'm done here. I'm gonna leave. No. If he leaves, the tremendous work that he's been doing, I don't think nobody. I'm telling you, nobody else is capable of doing what he's doing right now. Nobody. And everything is just. We are just this close to jump off the bridge, man. We are this close, man.
Wow.
And there's nothing that gives you hope, man. There's nothing out there that gives you hope, because let's say that he gets all these players, right? Okay, I found this player. We got a right back, we got a striker, and we got a center mid that potentially can play in the first division. All right, they're going to Alianza Lima. You know what? Yeah, we got 6 international slots. We'll use them all. Yeah, let me put that kid on the bench. You know, let's go to Sporting Cristal. Okay, we got the same thing, brother. And all these talents find their way up to the top flight division, and they cannot play because there's no spot for them in the Peruvian top flight division for them. So it doesn't matter. So all this hard work to put up players that have they can have a international future. But if you don't play in the top flight division, I mean, you don't have playing time. You cannot play anywhere.
Yeah,
you cannot play anywhere. In Uruguay, every week, brother, every week I'm seeing this, and it's that's why they're soccer factory players. It's a never-ending pool. Every weekend I see at least 6, not 2, not 3, 6, sometimes 7 under 20 players.
Wow.
Under 20. Okay? And they play every single week. By the time they get to 21, you got 250 games under your belt in the top flight division. You're ready to go. You're ready to go to Europe. You're ready to go to Milan. You're ready to go to Benfica. You're ready to go to any of those teams that they're going to come for you, and they're going to see you 21, but as a seasoned player already at 21. Here at 21, they're babies. You know? Anyway, Jesus, I'm sorry for the rant.
No. That's what you're here for. It's here for the education. It's here for letting everybody know what's going on. No, we firmly believe, and you know me, I want everyone to know as much about everything as humanly possible. I want to have folks know about what's going on in one corner of the world. I want them to know I want folks to know what's going on in San Marino.
There you go.
I want folks to know about what's going on there. I want folks to know what's going on in CONMEBOL. I want folks to know what's going on in Serie D, in Italy, and with Nick and soccer. Look, it is a big, bold universe that has a lot of different things to talk about. And when you come in every week, you give that section of the planet that we don't know a whole lot about the love and the education that it deserves. Dude, when you bring stuff to the table, I'm here to learn and listen as much as the next guy. Don't worry about it. It's all good, man.
All right, man. Thanks, John, man. It's just it makes me mad, man. It makes me mad because I see all the talent that we have here, man. Because there's talent here in Peru, and they don't see the light, and because not because they can't, but because there's a lot of people that doesn't care about them. You know, they don't care. They only care about their pockets, and that's all it is. You know.
So then what is this you mentioned about the bizarre definition of the Uruguayan tournament where you could have 3 Clásicos this year? What is this?
Oh, it's crazy, right? I love the Uruguayan tournament because they're so unique. They're so old school. They are like you feel like you are in the 50s when you're calling this tournament. But it's so dramatic. It's so exciting. It's just crazy, man. All right. So anywhere in the world. Right? Anywhere in the world, there's one table, right? You got 34 matches. At the end of the year, all right. Number one is the champion because they got the most wins, and that's it. I got 58 points. You got 55. I'm the champion, right? No, sir. No. That's not how it works in Uruguay. It doesn't work like that, brother. First off, we have no one, no two, but we got 3 tournaments in 1 year. 3. You got the Apertura, you got the Intermedio, and you got the Clausura. Because I'm not complaining because there's more games for me, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Bring me more games. I'm happy.
Yeah, man.
All right. And then you have the tables. All right. Then you have the table. You have the right now is the Clausura. We got 2 games to go. You got the Clausura table. You got the annual table, right? Because you accumulate all the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the relegation table. You see, you got 3 tables, brother. 3. All right. And the thing with the relegation table is that they get all the games from this year and from last year. Okay. So they don't count the stats from this year, but for the last 2 years. So the teams that come into the first division this year, they got a battle for themselves to stay here for 1 year because that's all they have. They don't have the cushion from last year because they were not in the top flight division. Okay. All right. So now the title. Okay, the title. All right. Peñarol won the Apertura, right? Nacional won the Intermedio. By the way, that Intermedio gives you nothing. The right to nothing.
Well, it's the middle. I mean, it's to me, Apertura Clausura, yeah, but Intermedio, so it's like, yeah, you're at the All-Star break. You won.
It's something like that. But there's something. There's a meaning for that because they got to play the Supercopa, which is the next that usually plays on January second week of January, 15, 17, 18. They play the Supercopa. They play the champion of the year. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's say that Peñarol wins this year, and Nacional won the Intermedio. Oh, hold on a second. You got to play against me, the Supercopa. Okay, so I'm telling you, that's the classic. You follow me here, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you, I think.
So the thing is, they're tying points now at the Clausura, Peñarol and Nacional.
Ooh.
Okay.
And
Nacional has a ridiculous, outrageous goal differential right now because they've been scoring 4 goals apiece in the last 4-6 games. Right? Yeah, they're on a roll. Sensational. And then I was talking to my friends in Uruguay because we got all the guys that do all the production are in Uruguay.
Right.
And I was like, hold on a second, but so Nacional already got it, right? No. It doesn't work like that, It doesn't work like that. So if Peñarol has 50 points, and Nacional 50 points, but Nacional has a plus goal differential of 30, and Peñarol by, 20, you would say, right? Oh, they won.
Yeah.
No. We need to define who's going to win the Clausura with an extra game. There's an extra game to determine who's the champion of the Clausura. All right. And not only that, hold on, it doesn't stop there, brother. We got more Clásicos to add to the calendar. So let's figure it out. Oh, hold on a second. There's 10 points in the annual team. All right, we need to get another Clásico to determine who wins the annual table, even though it's not going to give you the championship, right? So you got that game too. And once we settle who won the Clausura, who won the annual table, now we got to go into the championship series. So potentially we have, I think, like 4 more Clásicos coming. And that comes down to one thing. When I ask him to my Uruguayan friends, it's like, so guys, who's the third one? And who's the third biggest club in Uruguay? Because you got Nacional Peñarol, that's all you need, so you know. And then you have Defensor, who won a couple of championships. You got Danubio, and then one guy in the studio said from behind, because I was talking to the producer, and one guy said, "There's no third one in Uruguay, brother. There's no third team in Uruguay. It's only Nacional Peñarol. Who cares about the rest?
Wow.
Well, yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Wow. Because okay, so what I did while you were trying to break all that down is, other than try and understand it, I looked at the different headings that are available for all of the different elements in the season. You have, and these are things that I can click on.
Yeah.
You have the tabla anual,
Yeah.
the promedios,
Yes, that's this relegation.
the torneo intermedio,
Yeah.
the torneo intermedio playoffs, the apertura, and the clausura. That's what I can click on in when I do my Uruguayan research.
Yeah, yeah.
I can click on any one of those banners to get what's going on.
It is ridiculous, man. But I think it's fun. I think it's fun. I mean, you gotta make it happen, right? You gotta think about getting the most games possible because you only have so many teams in the tournament. So, I like it. I think it's interesting. It's unique. It's not the most logical thing to do, but you gotta make it happen, brother. When you have those many teams and you got the chance to get as many clásicos as you can, make it happen some way somehow.
Did I see this right, that they actually have games during breakfast? Did I see like a 7:45 kick?
Yeah.
Like,
I remember that we got the 2 hours 2 hours ahead of us.
Okay.
It's
So
still 9:45. Still
okay. So it's like brunch basically. It's a
it's brunch. Yeah.
Okay, because I looked at this and I'm like, a 7:45 kick. I was like, what is that?
I got games like that, but I got games. You gotta be here at 8 because when I was in the studio, I gotta drive like 20 miles, right? So I gotta get there. The game was at 8. I gotta get there at 7. I gotta get up at 6. And the pipes in the morning, you gotta warm it up, brother. You gotta warm it up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's before we transition, because by the way, Niko is trying to find a location to come in this morning because they had that bomb cyclone up in Seattle where they had it. Literally, there's this bomb cyclone that happened off the Pacific coast, and Seattle got pounded. I mean, flooding, rain, trees, power. Literally, here's what he said. He DM'd me this morning, as he was trying to get ready, and so here's what he literally told me this morning. He goes, I'm looking for a good place to stop and do the show. We had no electricity or internet at the house. The bomb cyclone effed things up. And he didn't use the word things. And he didn't use the word effed either.
I know.
So the bomb, literally, if you watch TV out of Seattle, they got pounded. I mean, like torrential rains and everything. And so he's trying to find a place to come in this morning. And what I wanted to discuss with you also is, when you get up in the morning, and I also want to discuss what's going on in Portugal and possibly leading to Manchester United too, because we've had sporting discussions and it seems to be continuing. When you've got to get up and do an early wake up and you've got to do an early match, I mean, how do you take care of the pipes when you've got an early wake up call?
I found these vocal exercises, right?
Okay.
And I gotta Google it by myself. I remember because Jesus, my first year on Gold TV. I mean, I didn't have anyone to look up to any of the commentators, because everybody was in Spanish, and they were on a different schedule. And I was like, man, what do I do? Because I was feeling it, right? I was feeling it on my pipes. Google it, baby. Google it. Boom, boom, boom. Just check. And I see all these vocal exercises.
Okay.
And of course, in the morning, chamomile tea and honey. Honey, brother. Honey is, oof, honey is just, I love it. I
Yep.
love it. And that those vocal exercises, what you do, it's just a routine of 5 to 7 minutes that you do. I'm gonna send it to you, man. I want to send to
Yes,
you because
yes, send it to me because he found a spot. Niko found a spot. So we're gonna check this spot out and we'll see what it looks like. So Niko found a spot.
let's see where you are, brother. Man.
We gotta see where he is. My guess is he's probably in his car with a fancy backdrop. But we're gonna run the fancy open. Here we go. Beat 2, 3, 4. So are you in your car, Niko?
I am in my car. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Well, how's it going, guys? Yeah, I am nearby a friendly coffee shop with some decent Wi-Fi. And got me a nice cup of Joe. First one of the day because I was trying to get out of the house away from the black spot of death of both electricity and cellular service, no internet. We've been back to the Stone Ages for the last 2 days. But my commitment to this show is way too strong. So we're right here for whoever wants to listen to it, or my opinion, of course, your audience, whoever wants to be and needs that information. I wanted to be here, so here I am.
Now, and trust me, first and foremost, is everyone okay?
Yes.
Thank you for that. Yes, everybody's all right. No major issues to either the house or anybody in my family, aside from having to do a little bit of, buy some lighting. And yesterday I grilled outside, on the barbecue grill. I put out some chicken and stuff. So, it's been an experience for the kids. A lot of board games, lots of battery wasting, and having to go recharge certain devices and stuff, and then bring them back to the house. But other than that, man, everybody's good.
Okay, that's first and foremost. Before we get to talking about anything going on in the world, we got to make sure you're okay. Niko, a CONMEBOL question from Nino for the handoff this week, because Nino went full bore into the Peruvian situation, and he was losing his mind over it. So I will defer the handoff to him with a CONMEBOL question. Nino, what's on your mind?
I thought because you said Niko to Nino, and as I was waiting for Niko to ask me the question.
Oh no, you're handing off, brother. It's going the other way. You're asking your question
All right.
to Niko about CONMEBOL. We're going that way.
All right. So my dear buddy Niko. So two losses in a row for Colombia. It's a tough situation, but the insane cushion that you built, that the Toto Lorenzo built with Colombia, gives him that peace of mind that even when you lose 2 games in a row, which in CONMEBOL is just brutal because everyone else is coming after you, right? But they managed to stay afloat. Is any what are the racing concerns after 2 losses in a row for Colombia, man?
Honestly, there has been a lot of mayhem in both Colombian media, Colombian fan base, because when you have a team that's as talented and you got a roster, for lack of a better word, that bubble of Colombian players currently, there's a high expectation. So yes, you build a whole lot of credit, and that's why you win the games early, especially in CONMEBOL, and that's why you are able to do certain things to be able to put yourself in a good position. But the reality is that the way Nestor Lorenzo started with Colombia with this huge winning streak, and they seem to be unstoppable. Then you go to Copa America, and then you get second place. You almost beat the champs, and you almost, put a hit onto Messi's Argentina. And now you lose a game in Uruguay that you should at least have drawn. There's no reason why a team as experienced as Colombia should tie the game in the 96th minute and then get it drawn right after that. I mean, it makes no sense. Where is that experienced player that's going to take it to the corner? Where is that necessary foul? Let's make something happen. The dark arts, absolutely anything but allowing Uruguay to get in transition and win the game at the last minute. I mean, it makes no sense. I've said it once and twice and three times. There isn't really a replacement for James Rodriguez. So whenever he's coming off the bench, you don't have your best team out there. And I love Quintero, I really do. And you saw the magical foot he has when he puts that ball in. But for 90 minutes or 70, it's hard to keep him in a game. So I think that the biggest question mark and the biggest concern is, does Colombia have another 10? Do they have another Cam? Do they have another talent amplifier that's going to get the ball out wide to Lucho, that's going to get services into the 9? I think that's the biggest concern, because against Ecuador, then you went completely dry. I mean, the TNT, the gunpowder, it was gone against Uruguay, against Ecuador. So how are you going to get that? How are you going to replace that? I think that's a concern.
All right.
All right.
All right. So, Nino, what are you calling this weekend?
This weekend, I only got one game this Friday, man. Only got one game this Friday. I'm the weekend off. That's rare. But I got a national. They got a national game on Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Nacional versus Montevideo City. And then the next week we go into the Copa Uruguay. We start Tuesday and Wednesdays. We got fully loaded there. We got like 4 or 5 games in 3 days, man. So gonna be loaded next week. But I got a weekend off. That's rare, and I'm gonna enjoy it. Yep. Yes.
Get the one match and save the pipes. Love you, my friend. We will catch up with you next week, and we'll catch up with
Marino.
Copa.
Take care, man.
All the points
safe,
between. All right. Be safe. And there goes Nino. All right. So Nino Torres, our buddy from Gold TV, has only the one match this weekend. All right. Now, you and I got a boogie here because we have yet to talk about the MLS Cup playoff. And it's kind of busy. And I want to start with you out west. And it is the 2 LA clubs. It is the handsomest men in Major League Soccer as a part of things at LAFC, and the Killer Peas at LAG, with you involved and with Minnesota involved. I know we'll get into juice boxes because I know that you'll call for those in a bit. But when you look at Seattle coming into this weekend, and you're a dog, what are you staring at with Seattle coming up with this matchup?
I'm staring at a team that I think has led me to believe that they can do this. I think that's the biggest takeaway I've gotten from the training grounds, from what the players that I've talked to, from the run of form that certain players have been showing within the last couple of weeks. I think Seattle, regardless of how limited they can be at times and how inefficient they've been offensively, specifically against this team that's outscored you 9-1 over the last 4 games in 1 year. I think that there's a certain belief, and they've maybe touched a little piece of my heart to make me believe that there is a chance. But the real Niko, the candid Niko, the guy that's going to stay consistent with his analysis, still believes that LAFC is going to come out up top. But again, I do think that going over the training week, couple of weeks really, the only real concern is, can Paul Rothrock play? I don't know if he will. He did not practice yesterday. He wasn't involved or full in training. So if anything, he might be on the bench as just an emergency guy. If you need him, if you need that spark plug, I think he's going to be available for that specifically. But how healthy he is, not sure. Brian has been really cagey about giving us anything on Paul for obvious reasons. And then the question mark is, do you go with Christian Roldan? Do you start Georgie Manungu? Do you, if you ask me, Niko, what would you do? I've said it. Just for the sake of doing something different, I start Raul on top. I put Jordan Morris on the left, and I play with Pedro on the right. That's just me. That's what I think. With Steve Cherundolo does not have that lineup in his possibilities, in my opinion. So when you have that there, I think that you surprise him and you do something different, and you play with a guy that maybe opens up some spaces for Jordan Morris and opens up some spaces for, whether it's Pedro La Vega, or how you want to play that. So it's the biggest concern, but I have a great matchup. I think that is going to be fun to watch, at least in terms of intensity. I don't expect a lot of goals on that LAFC Sounders game, but I think there'll be a lot of intensity. On the other side, you got probably the biggest um, candidate, in my opinion, to the Western Conference Championship. I think that the LA Galaxy have been in great run of form. I think they have a whole lot of talent, but they are going to face a dog, and not a dog in the sense of being an underdog, but a dog, and they're going to tie you up. They're going to make it dirty, nasty, rough. They're not going to allow Ricky to get on the ball often. They're going to be disruptive. They're going to play nice and compact. They're not going to allow Gabriel Peck to have a lot of spaces. They're going to try to really close down on Jovic. I think that they have a lot of weapons to make it difficult for the LA Galaxy, but I do believe that LA, Greg Vanny, will find a way and they'll get past Minnesota.
When we mentioned Seattle and the most handsome men in Major League Soccer, you mentioned Paul Rothrock. I want to go down that rabbit hole a second. First, what has it been like to see Paul's game evolve? Because we got the first chance to see him in MLS Next Pro with Tacoma Defiance. What has it been like to see his game evolve? And what does he bring to the table when he's healthy? What does he bring to the table for Brian Schmetzer in Seattle?
I mean, he's been fantastic. Quite honestly, he's a guy that has a huge engine block on his small frame. He has all the right intangibles in terms of, regardless of him being a Tacoma Defiance guy, a guy that no one had him as a starter for this Sounders team. He plays at a high level. He plays with a chip on his shoulder and no insecurities. He's gonna get off on the mouth to just about anybody. I saw him nutmeg Chino Huerta. I saw him get in Chino Huerta's face. I saw him do it to a bunch of players. He did it against the Timbers. He's always a guy that is consistently giving you character and desire and effort. So, I actually do think that he's been playing the wing position very well, at least for what Brian wants him to do. So, anytime you have a guy that understands the assignment, it's a good day for a coach. So, I think he does that. He brings that, but I don't mind him in that emergency, let's bring him off the bench role. That's the way we fell in love with Paul Rothrock. Is when everything's got rough for Brian and he needed a goal, he needed a push, he'd get on that axe and break the glass, and there popped off Paul Rothrock to the rescue. So I don't think it'd be a bad thing to have him there for this LAFC game, but that's what he provides. Quite honestly, and I don't think it's just vibes. I've learned to respect Paul's technical abilities. I think that he gets a little bit pigeonholed and stereotyped because he's a Defiance guy. He's a Seattle guy. Some would just say, "Oh, he's just an American young guy," right? So they think that all he has is athletic ability, desire, and effort. But I think that there's some technical things that he does very well.
Juice boxes for LAFC in Seattle. LAFC is a minus 111 to win in 90 minutes. 90-minute draw is a plus 265. Seattle to win outright is a plus 283.
Ooh. Yeah, I honestly want nothing to do with that game. There's just too much at stake. Too many undefinable variables. I just think it's going to be hard to predict. I would love to say that it's going to go down to PKs, but I don't believe that. I really don't. None of the matches that these teams have played out in real senses during MLS season, even taking out US Open Cup, have not led to that. I do believe that this is going to be a finish in 90 minutes type of situation, and I just think LAFC is going to be able to do it again. I am a believer. I understand it. JP has looked fantastic all weekend. We just talked to Pedro de la Vega yesterday. He looks like he has the right idea. He understands what's at stake. I think that he's more than overdue for a breakout game. Can it be this one? Can there be magic in there? Absolutely. I love to sit here and tell you that the Sounders are going to win this game and Minnesota's going to pull an upset against the LA Galaxy and Seattle's going to host. But I just don't believe it. Maybe it happens. Maybe it does. But I can't find a way to logically bring it out to you at your show and say, hey, this is what's going to happen.
The over-under in the juice boxes, over-under, the under 1.5 is a plus 274. Does that change your mind?
2.5?
Under at 1.5 is a plus 274.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I don't think it'd go beyond that. I mean, Seattle's gonna not expose itself. I think they're going to be very cautious. I think they're going to use time to their advantage, try to take the oxygen out of BMO. Is that what it is now? Right?
Yeah.
BMO Stadium.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's going to be. I think that they're going to be very cautious. They're going to delay the game. They're going to try to counter whenever LA Galaxy decides to push up those lines with Murillo and Chanel. So yeah, I think it's going to be 1.5 under. I'll take the under all day, every day.
Plus 274. LAG.
What are the numbers for Minnesota at LA Galaxy?
We're getting there. I was going to talk about you and your
Oh,
dog.
good.
Talking about you and your dogs, man. LAG is a minus 145. 90-minute draw is a plus 316. Minnesota to win outright in 90 minutes is a plus 333.
Hey, man, I feel more comfortable rooting for the tie and the draw in that one. To be frank, look, if there's something that Minnesota has done well, as not just on the defensive end, but they've really put it together offensively, and they've been able to at least get a lot of opportunities built up, whether it's in the way that Ramsey uses his substitutions to create moments where there's a lot of overloads, or just simply Jaboa being Jaboa. We both know that this LA Galaxy is not the best defensive team, and they can get caught up. They like to play higher with their lines. At times, their midfield gets too stretched, and they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable sometimes. And if Ramsey can find a way to get the ball to Pereira, to Jaboa, to the guys that can make things happen, there's no reason why this team can't really put LA Galaxy in some issues. So I'll go with the draw, man. I would not mind the draw. And maybe even give me the over-under on that. Because, I mean, let's say, a situation that builds up, I could see a 2-2. I could see a 2-2.
Okay, so over at 3.5 is a plus 131. Over under at 4 is plus 2.25.
Oh no. No, that's a little too rich for my blood. So 2.5 is about as high as I would go on that. But beyond that, yeah, that's a little too much for me.
So 2.5 in your over 2.5, over 2.5, a minus 190. So that doesn't help you. Under 2.5 is a plus 146. Under at 3 is a minus 105. So that's kind of where things blend together, is right there at about 3.
Oof. Vegas is starting to figure out MLS. That's what I'll tell you right now, because it was a lot easier when we were doing this here a couple of months ago. Those are some tough numbers. I don't know if I like any of them, but if I had to go with it, I just take the draw straight up. I would just take the draw straight up.
All right. So then here, I'll give you a number that I think you'll like. I will give you a number I think you'll like straight up. And it ain't Hudson River. Purple Team and Atlanta United. Purple Team is a minus 154. You figure as much. They're at home. 90-minute draw is a plus 309. Atlanta to win outright has gone up this week. In the composite, it is now Atlanta to win in 90 minutes, a plus 371.
Oh, man. I do like that number. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's the best bet you've ever made, but I think it's damn worth it. I think it's damn worth it. I really do. I might do that myself. Look, and I'm a guy that tends to think that Orlando's going to pull it off, and I don't think by much. I don't think by much. I think that it's very even, specifically because Atlanta has shown you that they know how to work these sort of teams with a lot of talent, with a defined game model. Very different, of course, Inter Miami and Orlando, but it seems like these guys are just feeling the vibes, man. And believe in Rob or not, he has done the right things to put guys in the right positions, from Sabatime to substitution Sunday to Jamal, just what he does up top and being relentless and pushing and being ready for counters, to Dax McCarty on a beautiful last dance that he wants to just put together.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I believe it. Like, I really do. I want Atlanta to win, and that's good enough for me to just like that number straight outright. I think Orlando, again, they have a lot of game changers and guys that can, be able to just take the game over on their own, between Ojeda. I think Maguire probably started this game if he's healthy enough. Ramiro Enrique, he's been very, very off. He hasn't been able to get back on that scoring cycle. But I think that there's a lot of talent there. But the collective play by Atlanta, they already showed that they took on the best team in MLS, the most dangerous, most prolific offense. Man, why not? Why not? I like it.
All right, let's go through totals here. Let me see if there's a number that agrees with you. And I'll start at 3.5. Over 3.5 is a buck and a half, plus 150 to go 3.5. 4 on the over is a plus 264 in the composite.
Oh.
My guess is you'd probably stick to that over at 3.5 and go with plus.
Yeah, at the very most, absolutely. I think the 3.5 would make sense. And look, Orlando's not going to go out without a fight. I do expect them to find the back of the net. And if I believe that it would go beyond that, if there wasn't that rivalry between Orlando and Atlanta, maybe it goes up a little bit more. But this is basically what you would call a derby, and you just play those different. And it's playoff time, and as much as I know that Oscar Pareja would love to just kill this game in the first 45 minutes, that's not his style. That's not his style. So it's not going to be a shootout here. It's going to be a very tactical game. And man, it's as close as it can get, man. This is probably the closest out of all the matches for the semifinals here. For me, that is the closest matchup. Every other place I could see one clear underdog. In this one, look, I don't want to play it off against the numbers and the stats and the reality that if we look at it by the book, Atlanta is the underdog, but it's not, because of what they just did and the way they're playing, the run of form. It's not by much. It's not by much.
And this is a rivalry because you have folks here in this particular part of the planet. We have several acronyms, and we mentioned the FEA acronym last week.
Yeah.
Blank them all. But there is an acronym that is tied to Atlanta and the Purple Team, and it is a chant that is given by the Atlanta fans with the acronym OFYO. And it's sung, "Oh, blank you, Orlando." And so that is OFYO. This is the Purple Team is a rival. Make no mistake about it. This one is going to be fun for those of us that cover it. We'll be down there, obviously, but for those that are going to be playing, it might be fun. It's going to be a lot of angst and anger and some pushing and shoving and some getting in people's faces and I'm looking forward to seeing who turns into the Paul Rothrock of Atlanta United. Probably Dax or something.
Yeah, no, it's fun, man. And don't forget to give me that Hudson Derby as well, the Hudson River Derby. I really want to know that one as well. Without seeing the numbers, I've been very high on New York Red Bulls style of play as of late.
Yeah.
How different they are with Forsberg on the field.
Oh.
He's the missing component that I feel like amplifies everything around them. I see that defense playing a lot better. I like the Red Bulls in this one. But what are the numbers?
At a plus 204 to win outright.
I like that. I like that. That could actually be my lock for this one, for the East side. Absolutely. I think that the Red Bulls are finally going to find their way, and I know that everyone is waiting for them to just blow it. I mean, quite honestly, everybody just thought, the Red Bulls are not going to do it. They're not going to be able to get it done. I understand that New York City FC has a lot of talent as well. Clearly, there is that narrative. That's what we see, that number. But to me, run of form is important, and I think that Red Bulls do get it done. They get it done.
90-minute draw is a plus 258. NYC is a home favorite on the plus side at a plus 120. That shows you the faith that the juice boxers have in NYC. They're not a minus favorite. They're a plus 120 favorite.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and I see it, right? They've been, if maybe not played better at home, but they've gotten results at home. They've gotten much better results at home. And I think that's a big one. Whenever you can just pull results at home, that's going to make things in your favor when it comes to a playoff game. But I think the Red Bulls at their best can beat the New York City that I've seen this year at their best. And I hate to say it because, look, Santi is a fantastic player. Love the guy. He's been so good this year. But defensively, what I saw from Red Bulls against Columbus still gives me chills. I mean, I've watched that game maybe 3 times. A couple of those games, at least 3 times. And what they did against Columbus was unreal.
All right. We know that the situation is dependent upon people being healthy and people being safe, but what's the latest? Where do folks need to go to pay attention to what's going on with Pulso Sports and Soccer Bar, obviously weather permitting?
Yeah, no, today, Pulso Sports, I will be getting to an office space just to do the show. So in about 45 minutes, we have a great show. I mean, it's going to be, you probably talked about it enough over there, but it's going to be the Tata Martino show. We're going to have a guy from Miami talking to us. We're going to break down what it means for the Messi project. Job number 1 is keeping Messi happy. What does that look like? What are some candidates? Is there any way that this just breaks off completely? We're going to talk about all those things. To me, this is just another reason why I think Chris Henderson is gone and why I think he'll end up in Atlanta. There's just no way he's staying. I mean, I talked to some folks and they told me that it's not 50-50. You know, that there's still some incline to stay in Miami, but there's definitely it's definitely not a no. So if Chris Henderson is leaving that organization, there's no other place where he can find the same stability, support economically to do what he wants to do than Atlanta. And you get Starchy and Hutch back together. I think it's the perfect storm. I really do. I think it's a perfect storm. And this Tata thing, to me, just makes it that much clearer.
No doubt about it. And you guys will talk about Mascherano and Xavi and everybody else that's in line.
Got it.
To might be hanging out with Messi and friends. Glad you're safe, my friend. Please send all of our best to the collective there in the Pacific Northwest. And just know that we're thinking about you. Look, I've been watching Q13 and King and Como. I know what's been going on. So I've been watching the whole time. Glad you're safe. Glad you're in a car. Get everything charged. Glad you're cooking out and making sure that things are the way they're supposed to be for the fam. Love you, my friend. We will see you next week, and we will be down to the Final Four.
Thank you, John. Really appreciate it, man. Sorry for it doesn't look good, but I had a decision to make. Either the audio sounds good or the image look good. And I already know that they don't come for the face. They come for the audio. So I made sure to just be in my car where it's quiet, where I don't got to worry about no side music, no nothing, nobody talking in my ear. So have a good one, guys. Love the show. We'll see you guys. Enjoy the playoffs, man. Watch them. It's going to be fun.
No doubt about it. Go charge some phones. We'll see you next week. And there he goes. There's Niko. Niko's going to go charge phones. Pulso Sports, 45 minutes. They're going to talk about everything with Messi and friends and Tata and all that. And he's going to charge his phone. All right. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch, and how to watch it before we get out of here. All right. So the one topic on the board that we saved, probably should save it anyway, has to do with Sporting and Victor Amorim and who is desired by Amorim. We know that Gyökeres is, and the young defender is as well. So here we go. It is Liverpool and Newcastle interested in Brian Mbeumo from Brentford. 3-letter paper. Take the information at your own peril. Manchester City favorites to land Bayer Leverkusen's midfielder Florian Wirtz. Real Madrid and Liverpool set to miss out. Santos left back João Victor de Souza has emerged as a target for Chelsea, but they're going to face competition for Barca. Victor de Souza is 18. Sporting's Ousmane Diomande has spoken with Ruben Amorim about reuniting with his former manager. So it's Diomande, Gyökeres, and Kenda. You have to keep an eye on all three of them. Jorge Mendes is trying to secure the move of Kenda to Manchester United as a possible destination. Rosenborg midfielder Severa Naipan, who is 17, will not join United unless he's given assurances over first-team football. That's from our friends at GMS. Probably Ben Jacobs. Follow Ben at JacobsBen on your social medias. Former Manchester United interim boss Ruud van Nistelrooy keen to stay in the Premier League amid potential managerial opportunities at Southampton, Wolves, and Crystal Palace. West Ham open to selling summer signing Guido Rodriguez in January with a return to former club Real Betis on the cards for the Argentine midfielder. Liverpool likely to have a bid of £17 million rejected for Ryan Cherki, with Lyon holding out for 29. Remember what we talked about with Lyon. Southampton, Brighton, Ipswich, considering a move for Vasco da Gama forward Ryan, who is 18 in January. Once again, it's from our friends at GMS. Forest is going to demand in excess of £70 million for defender Murillo, who is wanted by Liverpool. Manchester City set to battle it out with PSG and Juve for Atalanta midfielder Ederson. Besiktas hoping to sign Jorginho on a free when his contract with Arsenal expires this summer. West Ham, Brighton, and Fulham keeping tabs on midfielder Josh Brownhill, who has yet to sign a new deal with Burnley. So that's your gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Once again, we avoid the 3 and the 4-letter paper and take the information at your own peril. Soccer on TV. It is, you have the early round of college soccer. The Apertura playoffs begin in Liga MX. 8:05 tonight, Chivas and Atlas on Telemundo. Night into the back end of the doubleheader on TUDN, Tijuana and America at 10 o'clock. And Universo is simulcasting what's on Telemundo with Chivas and Atlas. DAZN USA Champions League, 2 at 12:45. Valerenga and Bayern Munich, Hammarby and Manchester City, Arsenal, Juve, St. Pölten, and Barca both at 3 on DAZN USA. Spanish Copa del Rey's at 3. Jove, Espanyol, San Vicente, and Real Sociedad. That's got to be a fantastic venue. That's on the plus. Argentine Primera, 2 matches. Barraca Central Belgrano at 3. Independiente Rivadavia and River Plate at 7:30. College soccer. Opening round. Starting at 1 o'clock on the plus. 2 at 1, 3 at 5, 3 at 6, 3 at 7, 1 at 8, 4 at 10. Across the board. Junior college Division I men's semifinals, 4 and 6:30 on the plus. Already underway, the Division I women's semifinal number 1. That is also on the plus. And we will see who is in it, just to see who is in the junior college, the NJCAA women's soccer championships. So it appears that's women's volleyball. Daytona State and Iowa Western Community College. That right now is on. So Daytona State and Iowa Western Community College. That right now is your number 1 semifinal in the Junior College Athletic Association. Obviously, it is the opening of Division I women's second round. That's all day tomorrow, and we'll go over those matchups then. So thank y'all enough for hanging out with us. We started early. We went long. Even for 11:05, we went long. With our buddy Luca Pelliccioni, live from inside the San Marino press conference room to let everybody know what's going on with San Marino. I'm sorry, that was awesome and hilarious on about 9 different levels. I love it. Ranked 210 in the world, they're now in League C in UEFA Nations League. 2 wins away if things fall out a certain way. They could be 2 wins away, or 2 positions away in 2 separate competitions, where if you win in a shootout or if you win outright, you can make it to the 2026 World Cup. And that would be blanking awesome. That would be tremendous. The expanded World Cup, you could have San Marino attached to it. And that would be amazing in and of itself. Fantastic if that breaks down that way. We'll keep you posted, obviously. But great to have Luca Pelliccioni from the press office hanging out with us. Great, as always, to catch up with all of y'all. Great to have Nino and Niko in hour number 2. Nino breaking down everything in South America. And like I said, we'll keep the sporting discussion from Portugal. We'll save that for next week. He's going to have Copa de Uruguay. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what else is on his mind. We'll talk about the 3 players that might be heading from Sporting to Manchester United. And Niko, first and foremost, glad everybody in his circle is safe with what's going on up there in the Pacific Northwest as they dig out from a bomb cyclone. So thanks for dropping by. We'll be back in less than 22. 9:05 tomorrow morning. Jessica Charman joining us live, batting leadoff from Kansas City. We might have to start at 9 o'clock. I'll keep you posted. But Jess is there for a piece of history on Sirius XM. She and Heather O'Reilly are getting prepared to call the NWSL Championship game on radio, on satellite radio. So we'll catch up with Jess. She's going to bat leadoff. 9:30, hopefully our friends from Beyond Goals, Greg Garza, maybe Greg and Mike, considering that Michael Parkhurst is getting ready for a championship. The 1v1 with Cano Smith is up on the network. You can listen to that. We talked to him yesterday before they hit the road to Colorado Springs. Coming up later today, you will get an interview on the YouTube channel and on the audio side. Emory women's soccer head coach Sue Patberg discussing what it's like to play a Duhawk and what a Duhawk actually is. Also, later today, you're going to get a preview of Division II women's side from Columbus State. Caught up with all of them yesterday. Jay Antlick and a couple of players. It was a really cool conversation we had there. And also our Copa Libertadores preview and review with our buddy Howard Hamilton from Soccermetrics. So that is the rundown of the day. Set your notifications. We'll be back in a little less than 22 to break it all down for you. That's SDH on a Thursday, and a lot of Thursday thoughts on a lot of different things, but that's what we're here for. So for everybody here at SDH, I'm just John. Play it safe. It's the end of the show. That means I get to do this. We'll see you tomorrow morning, maybe around 9.